Recruiting personnel into an army is an important task for any nation with an active military, or else who would defend the nation in times of conflict? Now in this episode, we're looking at 10 of the largest armies in the entire world. Welcome back to FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton, and for this episode, we are not highlighting armies that are the strongest, rather simply the nations that have the largest armies. Just wanted to make that clear. Alright, so starting off with the first nation at number 10, we have Saudi Arabia with the Saudi Arabian Army. Saudi Arabia surpasses Egypt for the 10th spot of the largest armies in the world. There's a huge amount of money that's being spent on the Saudi Arabian army every single year, and it means that the country has one of the best equipped armed forces. They have a total active personnel of 478,000. Now the Royal Saudi Land Forces are composed of 3 armored brigades, 5 mechanized brigades, 1 airborne brigade, 1 Royal Guard brigade, and 8 artillery battalions. The army also has 1 aviation command with 2 aviation brigades. Moving on to number 9, we have Vietnam with the People's Army of Vietnam. Vietnam ranks number 9 in this episode with a total active personnel count of 482,000 people. Now in the backdrop of the resurgent China, the Social Republic of Vietnam has been strengthening its armed forces. Now the organizations and establishment of the People's Army of Vietnam started way back in 1944, all to remove the French colonial forces as well as the Japanese occupiers under the guidance of Ho Chi Minh. Their army is made up of course, their ground force, their navy, their air force, the border defense force, as well as coast guards. However, Vietnam does not have a separate ground force or army branch. It's kind of like all put together in one. Number 8 brings us Iran with their Islamic Republic of Iran army. Iran comes in at number 8 in this episode, and they have a total active personnel of 523,000. When it comes to the modern history of Iran, the Iranian army was founded about 100 years ago, and the current form, the Islamic Republic, is a little less younger than that. Now their headquarters are located in Tehran, Iran, and the mission is to protect territorial integrity of the Iranian state from external and internal threats. Now the Iranian army, or the Artesh as they're called in Persian, has its own joint staff which coordinates its 4 separate service branches, and those are the ground forces, air force, the navy, and there's also the air defense forces. South Korea comes in at number 7, and their army is the Republic of Korea Army. They have a total active personnel count of 625,000. Now, the Republic of Korea Armed Forces was founded on August 15th, 1948, and their headquarters are in Seoul, South Korea. They were formally organized into 3 armies, the 1st Army, the 3rd Army, and the 2nd Operational Command. Now, each of them had their own headquarters, their own corps, and their own divisions. After restructuring, though, the 2nd Army was converted as the 2nd Operations Command, and that was in the year 2007, and the 1st and the 3rd Armies were merged as the Ground Operations Command, and that happened very recently in 2019. The Pakistan Army is at number 6, and they have a total personnel count of 654,000. Their army came into existence on August 14th, 1947, and it has its headquarters in Rawalpindi, Pakistan. The army's primary objective is of national security and national unity. And the Pakistani army is a voluntary force, and the army during disasters and emergency conducts humanitarian rescue operations at home, as well as participates in peacekeeping missions in different parts of the world. Pakistan also has the most amount of women in an army among the Islamic countries. Alright guys, so we made it halfway into this episode, but before we get into our last 5 armies, just a quick reminder to leave a like on this episode if you're enjoying it so far. Also, it lets me know which FTD Facts episodes you want to see more of. And if this is your first time here at FTD Facts, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. That way you'll join the FTD Facts family and be notified of our daily episodes. So be sure to come back here every single day to continue learning something new. Alright, so moving on to number 5, we have the ground forces of the Russian Federation. Russia has a total active personnel count of 1,013,628. And of course, it's 5th on this list. The Army was founded in the year 1992, and its major structural reorganization began in the year 2009. The Russian Ministry of Defense has its own headquarters at Moscow, and the main command of the ground forces consists of the main staff of the ground troops and the department force for peacekeeping forces. There's also the armaments of the ground troops and the rare services of the ground troops. There's the cadres of the ground forces troops, indoctrination work, as well as military education. And the branches of service include motorized rifles, tanks, artillery and rocket forces, troop air defense, special corps, reconnaissance signals, radio electronic warfare, engineering, nuclear, biological and chemical protection, logistical support, automobile, as well as the protection of their rear. There's also military units and logistics establishments. A whole lot going on in Russia's army. The nation coming at number 4 is North Korea. Their army is called the Korean People's Army Ground Forces. Now, North Korea has a total active personnel of 1,280,000. Their army is believed to have been founded back in the year 1932, and their headquarters are located at Pyongyang in North Korea. Their army consists of 5 branches. There's the ground force, the navy, the air force, and the strategic rocket forces, as well as the special operations. All right, guys, 3 nations left, and coming in at the number 3 spot, we have the United States with the United States Army. So the United States is very well equipped, and it has a total active personnel count of 1,281,900 people. The Army was founded over 200 years ago, and the US Army is the 3rd largest in the entire world. Now, the mission of the Army includes preserving the peace and security, as well as providing for the defense of the United States and the Commonwealths, as well as the possessions and areas occupied by the United States. Now, its headquarters are at Arlington County in Virginia in the United States, and it's the largest military branch of the United States Armed Forces. The Army is part of the Department of the Army, which is one of 3 military departments of the Department of Defense. But moving on to the nation at number 2 with the second largest army in the world, the Indian Army. They have a total active personnel count of 1,362,500. Their army headquarters are located in New Delhi, India, and initially the army's objective was to defend the nation's frontiers. Now, over the years now, the responsibility of protecting the country internally began to develop more and more. It has an all-volunteer force, and it comprises of more than 80% of the country's active defense personnel. The Army is still looking to expand, as they have embarked on an infantry modernization program known as Futuristic Infantry Soldier as a System, and it's also requiring new assets for its armored artillery as well as aviation branches. But India is not large enough to take the number 1 spot, because that goes to China and their People's Liberation Army Ground Forces. So China's troops total at 2,183,000. Their mission, of course, is to ensure that China is secured and stays safe. With the continuous advancements in the types of army equipment, as well as having the 2nd largest defense budget in the entire world, China ain't playing around. The Army is the largest as well as the oldest branch of the Republic of China's armed forces, and there are 13 core-sized army groups of China since the end of April 2017. Now, they're divided among 5 theater commands: the Eastern, Southern, Northern, Western, and Central commands. Within the theater command, starting in 2011, the divisions are being downsized into full brigades: armored, mechanized infantry, field artillery, air defense artillery, engineering, as well as logistical brigades. Alright guys, so that brings us to the end of this episode of looking at the 10 largest armies in the entire world. Be sure to leave your thoughts and comments down below in the video description section. And before you guys head out, just a reminder that my social media links are below in the video description section also, so you can follow me, shoot me a message over there, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quickly as possible. And before you guys head out, don't go anywhere, because I have a video coming up at the end screen, especially if you enjoyed this one. I definitely want you to check out this one coming up. Alright guys, so I'm gonna get out of here so you can watch it, you can learn something new, and I'll see you next time in another episode.